comes the boys from the south. Here comes the ready or not. Here comes the boys from the south.
Hey YouTubers, welcome back to the Pope Show. And today we are going to be working on the carts and fixing kind of some of the little things that I noticed on last week's video. So let me pan it around so you can see. So today we're going to be working on both of these. Mainly the little one. I'm going to extend it out so me and my son can sit in there and drive at the same time. Because whenever we sat down in it, his stomach hits right there in the steering wheel and he started crying because it's so tight. So I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do. I'm either going to extend it and shorten the shaft of the steering wheel. We'll play around with that and try to figure out what we want. The engine runs beautifully. I mean, it's a little rich, as you can see in the last video, because it backfires, or has fire. And then this beast, the pull coil. You see me doing it last week where I was sitting here trying to tighten this up so it wasn't dragging on the ground. Well, that's because the coil doesn't have enough tension on the string, so I need to take it back off and put more tension on the coil. And then also the fuel leaks like crazy on this thing. You can't really see it, but it's all wet around here and around here. So I don't know if I'm gonna be putting a different tank on there. We'll figure that out later today. And then I want to adjust the brakes on this also because the brakes suck. So let me go ahead and put you on the tripod, and I think we'll work on this one first. Okay guys, as you can see, I put it back on, and whenever I pulled it, it still got stopped, and I didn't know why. I thought maybe because I actually flipped it upside down, because I wanted to pull from the back, not the front. So I flipped it the right way on there, and I pulled it, and after about this far, it would still stick. I'm like, what the heck? So I take it off, right? I spray a bunch of WD-40 in here, thinking maybe, you know, I just need some lubricant. I still pulled it, it still did the same thing. I'm like, what the heck? So I loosened this up, sprayed some more in there, and tightened it back down, and then it stuck even like worse. And so I loosened this up a little bit, and then now it's clear. So somehow this nut got tightened, and that's what stopped it from retracting. So hey, there we go. Hey guys, I was looking at my gas tank that I have kind of laying around because I can't go buy one, and did a little bit of modding on it. It's going to be kind of funny. I'm going to go from this one to this one. So it's going to be a little bit smaller. Just a little bit. But this one doesn't leak. So I'm getting tired of losing gas in my garage. So let's go ahead and put this one on. Okay, now I want to take a second, and the people that don't use filters on their fuel, I want to show them what will happen. All this crap will go into your carburetor. I mean, that's ridiculous. And it's not that I didn't clean that tank out. I cleaned that tank out a bunch of times, but you're never going to get all of it out. So, you know, a $10 part can save you from cleaning your carb a billion times. Okay, so I know I just said, you know, you need a fuel filter because you're gonna get all this gunk in here. That's true. And I didn't put one on mine because this nipple is way too big for the hose. And, you know, plus it's all gunked up. I really need a new one anyway, so I'm just gonna go buy a new one later. I just put it on there to see if it would leak, and then I'm probably gonna drive around with it for a little bit. But, you know, that's me. You know, I'll clean a carburetor. But, you know, I am gonna put a filter on it, so don't freak out. Okay, so we got rid of those two problems. Coil works, now the fuel doesn't leak. And I don't know if you noticed it or not, but whenever I have that big tank on there, it would actually leak out of the carburetor. And that was because the hose was so big and it was so high that the force was pushing it straight through. So that's another thing it kind of fixed that aspect. So, you know, I got a smaller hose, less fuel going in there. It's enough fuel, but it's less so it doesn't, you know, overfill the carburetor. So like I said, it fixes two problems. But the one I did forget, I forgot to mention, and that's probably the biggest one today, is the chain keeps on moving. The engine keeps on sliding forward. Yeah, forward. The engine keeps on sliding forward, which is causing the, you know, the chain to loosen. You know, it doesn't happen fast. It happens after like an hour of driving. And I've tightened it, you know, I put lock washers on there. It still doesn't work. So I'm gonna try this trick that I seen on YouTube. Sorry, I can't remember where I saw it, but if I remember, I'll put it in the description. Alright guys, I don't know how well you can see it. I got it in as best as I could. But there's a space right here because the engine, there's a space right here because the torque converter would have hit the brake. So I got about an inch space here and some washers, and then on top, well, it keeps on moving, so I got these hooks. Angle iron, and I'm gonna weld this to it, and I'm gonna drill some holes in here, and I'm gonna bolt these on here like so. Well, actually the nut will be on top, so that way, you know, when the engine tries to pull forward, you know, I'll have a nut on both ends, and then on the steel. So if it tries pulling it, you know, the steel will hold it. And I seen it done with a piece of angle iron, but mine has those spacers in there. It's so high that I don't have a piece of angle iron that's, you know, high enough for that. So I had to cut this piece, which this piece is actually, I don't know if you remember, it's the engine mount for this engine I cut off. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill some holes and see what it looks like. Okay guys, so this is the finished product. Well, I'm still gonna paint this probably tonight so I can let it dry. But these bolts have a nut right here and then on the other side, and that holds it right in this position. And then I already slid the engine forward. So it's tight. So that part is done. So now we got 3 things done, 1 more to go. And then I almost forgot, the last thing is the brakes suck. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you a before and after.
And that cherry blossom tree was a gateway to the sun. And friendship, once it's one, it's one. North side.
So I measured it and it's 60 feet from that column. So let's see if we can do better. Okay, so here's my brake caliper. As you see, the tires can turn. You want just a little bit of friction on the, on that rotor. The only friction I feel is just from this. It's really hard to get in here with the camera, but I've already kind of messed with it a couple months ago. So I know my pads are good. It's just I need to tighten my pads closer. I'm gonna try so there's a stud right here to where I can feel some friction on my rotor. Okay, so I got it tightened where I think it's good.
Okay guys, so at
See, a
this
little
point
bit
I'm
of
very
friction.
mad because I gotta take that coil right back off. The spring in the actual center of the coil came undone, so I had to take it all apart and redo it.
Well guys, I got the coil back on, and then I went to go do another test run for the brake, and this is about as far as I got to my deck. And then it just stopped, and I've been trying to pull start it for about 15 minutes, trying to figure out what it is, if air or not. Notice the carburetor, one of the bolts was loose, so I was getting air in there. Still wouldn't start, so I'm like, what the heck? So I checked the fuel line, take it off, no fuel getting to it. So I think the fuel line got plugged, which is why you make a filter. Which is why you buy a filter. But, well, it made about 10 feet. Hopefully it's a little bit better braking power. Okay guys, so I think I had the problem figured out. It was that it wasn't getting vented enough, so it wasn't. Go-kart, but it stops a little bit better. And like I said, that's as tight as I can go. So, I mean, I don't know if it's maybe the rotor that I have, maybe I need a different rotor or pads. So, I mean, if you guys want to leave suggestions in the comments. So the results are in, and before I touched the brakes, it was 60 feet. I'm not going to work on that one yet because this one just took so much time. After I adjusted the brakes, I mean, there's so many hours, 38 feet. So it's not perfect. I'm just going to do that one next week. But next week also I'm going to move this gas tank. I don't like where it is. I don't know if I'm either going to move it up here, make a bracket, or most likely I'm probably going to move it up on the headrest again, make a bracket. Because it's getting enough fuel now, but it's just so close that if I go over a hill or something like that, I think it's going to die down because it's not going to get fuel. But